We are live as we travel the uphill road, coming to you from Black Bottom, number one Detroit. We thank God that we have survived and now have arrived at the last stop. Living with reality, truth, and consequences. Exciting yet thoughtful conversation, monologue, dialogue, dynamic guest, interviews. Most importantly, you, the listening audience. Live chat. Soon coming will be live call-in as we grow. Here at the last stop, we follow proven mathematical steps to its logical, biological, natural, commonsensical conclusion. Like 1 plus 1 equals 2, right? We all learn like that. So Dems, Repubs, Christians, Jews, Muslim, Hindu, and who do you do? Why must we compete when we all say that we believe in peace? Well, all right now, unbuckle your seatbelts. You have arrived at the last stop. I'm your host and conductor, Mansa Bay.
President Trump, with RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard and others, is preparing to bring out the truth about COVID, and that it was not just made in a lab in China, it was made by Obama and Fauci and the globalists, which is already on record. So we don't have Tulsi Gabbard, the head of national intelligence, saying, oh, we're going to expose the Chinese did it because they weren't the ones. No, it was Obama and Fauci and the globalists, and we're getting ready to bring it all out and indict them. We already have all the proof, but she's got the internal secret documents from the CIA meetings with Fauci.
So
this is huge. You don't do this unless you're about to drop the hammer.
Of course, this is Alex Jones, and of course, most of you have heard bad things about him, especially in the black population here. My family, cousins, and whatnot, they are, all against Alex Jones. But be that as it may, for now, what he's talking about now is the origins of this thing that they call COVID, and the changing of the guard, so to speak. There's a new sheriff in town, right? And so now these things are being exposed, they're coming out, and so just pay attention to the news cycle now, okay? And you're going to be seeing a whole lot of activity going on and people in high places. He mentioned a few names. Let's see what else he's got to say here on this topic here, okay?
We don't want new viruses released because what has Tedros and Bill Gates and all their other spokespersons and Fauci and Peter Daszak and Hotez said, oh, don't worry, a new pandemic will stop populace worldwide. Oh, we'll still get the carbon lockdowns. We'll still get depopulation. Ha, 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 ha. It's the globe.
How do they know that? Oh, my goodness. Okay, it's prayer time. Prayer time. How do they know that? That another pandemic is coming? I remember Fauci, back before Trump was elected the first time, he gave a speech and he said, well, they got a surprise that, there's going to be a pandemic. There's going to be there's going to be. So how can you predict that there's going to be something unless you have the controls over it? Okay? Think over these things.
Global is still trying to hold us hostage. Tedros, a few months ago, you better pass our UN health vaccine treaty, this global martial law, UN world government, or viruses are going to kill you. You better give us total control or global warming's going to kill you. And that's them cutting off the food and resources and energy and fertilizer that causes the third world to collapse. Then they flood us, and the UN organizes them and does it. And they go, oh, the cities are all going to burn. Global warming. Oh, see, they're burning. Yeah, because you leave the power on in high winds and don't trim the trees for decades, and then drain the water reservoirs, and don't let people have water. Whether you're in Hawaii, they did the same thing there, in Maui, or whether the Palisades. It's the same administrative mass murder. And once people click and get how this works, just as the former deputy head of HUD has explained for decades, administrative terrorism.
You hear that word, administrative terrorism. Yeah. It killed all the chickens and stuff because of a manufactured bird flu. Bird flu. Get some chicken noodle soup. It just tickles me right there, but it's pathetic here. So we have to strengthen ourselves with some study, with some knowledge. We have to do some study. No, don't take my word for it. Don't take Alex Jones' word. Don't take nobody's word for it. When you hear something, go to AI now, artificial intelligence, so they call it, but it's intelligence, and see what AI has to say about things. And it breaks stuff down. You'll be enlightened. And if you don't like AI or that's rigged or whatever, well then go to the books. They got books on everything. Yes, go to the books and see what the books say, okay? I'm going to go a little bit further with this here, and then we'll move along, okay?
Then you can't unsee it once you understand it. And then you read their white papers where they brag about it, how they'll use a virus to bring in their global government and their cashless society and their social credit score, and to train you to be locked down when they tell you on a routine basis, getting you ready for carbon lockdowns and 15-minute cities, and it's all happening.
But oh yeah, the carbon lockdown, carbon. Bill Gates did a TED talk, and in this TED talk, he said that we have to reduce this number down and this number down to get to zero. Well, the number that he was reducing down was you and I, the population. I think their original name wasn't Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It was Bill and Melinda Depopulation or something like that. Again, do your research. You know, sometimes I've done so much research, you know, I got so much in this computer up here that, you know, but do that research and you'll find it to be true. He's the head of the Eugenics Society. Eugenics means killing us. Killing us. Killing us. Manoshevitz, that's what I call it. Manoshevitz, you know.
Thing that we are working with Jay Bhattacharya, the new NIH director, on with, as well as Secretary Kennedy, is looking at the gain of function research that, in the case of the Wuhan lab, as well as many of these other biolabs around the world, was actually U.S. funded, and leads to this dangerous kind of research that, in many examples, has resulted in either a pandemic or some other major health crisis.
Well, let me ask you specifically, because we already know that EcoHealth Alliance was partnering with this Wuhan lab to do gain of function research.
That's right.
We just have never been able to have somebody say, it was that exact experiment that led to this COVID bug. But have we gotten there? What's the new thing that you're digging in on?
We are working on that with Jay Bhattacharya, and look forward to being able to share that. And the reason...
Yeah, she was pushing the button. She was trying to get that directive answer, you know. But this is so big that, this is so big that it takes a little time. You know, I'm impatient, and I know a lot of people out there are impatient. You know, the Patriots, the MAGA, and the MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. We want to see stuff happening quicker, and I pray that they are working as fast as they possibly can. But I do realize that it takes time. They got this big old ship now that they have to redirect. So we done changed the captain, right? But now we got the lieutenants, we got the privates, and we got the underlings, you know, these bureaucratic, unelected folk.
that's, sabotaging the Trump administration again. They sabotaged the first one. He still got a whole lot done. And they are still in there now. It's a sea, it's an ocean. This is transnational. This goes across the water. This is a globalist agenda here to destroy America. Yes, because America is the last man standing. The only man standing, you and I, that have the right to bear arms. All these other countries, they have no right to bear arms. That's why they're just being swept aside. And so now the last one is here in America. President Trump wants to return America to a republic. That what is designed to, a constitutional republic, not a constitutional democracy, not no democratic republic. No. A republic, period. Democracy is nowhere in the Constitution, but I'm digressing here, okay? Do your research, and you'll find that what I'm saying to be true. And when you find it to be true, then what do? Then you have to face reality. We call it living with reality. Truth and consequences. Here, you've arrived at the last stop where you're going to get conclusive answers, to life's realities. We don't have time to wishy-washy. The wiggle room, you don't have any. You don't have any. So either America is going to crumble swiftly, or it may stretch out 10, 20, 30, 50 years. I, for one, plan on being around for at least that 50 years, 50 more. So we'll see our children, our grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. What kind of world are we going to leave them if we just ignore the reality that we're seeing? Oh, don't believe your lying eyes. That's what the lady told the man when he walked in on him. A situation there. You know what I'm talking about. This is head of national security here now. This is not some quack doctor or some unknown, unreliable source. This is the source. These are the good guys in government, now in power, but they need help. They need help because there's a lot of people up under them are still just criminals and crooked. But they're preparing these documents now, though, and they're shooting at the top. And I love it.
Why this is so important is not just what happened in the past. It's because this gain-of-function research is happening in biolabs around the world. I got attacked, and I think you saw this. We've probably talked about it in your show before, when I warned against U.S.-funded biolabs in Ukraine when the Russia-Ukraine war kicked off for this very reason. Who knows what kinds of pathogens are in these labs, and if released, could create another COVID-like pandemic.
You see, that's X. They hate it with a passion that Musk purchased Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter. They hate that with a passion. And what did he do? He opened up some of the speech, and that's why one of the main reasons why President Trump was able to win, because the word got out. But if you're listening to ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, they used to call that the Clinton News Network. If you're listening to that, MSNBC and Al Sharpton, what's her name? Joyless Reed, and there's another one coming to my mind. Oh, Rachel Madcow. Oh, Jimmy Kimmel, all those night folks. Oh, my goodness. They all got paid. Ladies and gentlemen, sisters and brothers, they got paid. I think Rachel Madcow got something where around $40,000 per episode to push the lie. Now, the dollar sign may not be exactly right, but I'm close. So just do that research. Do that research. I ain't gonna say I'm tired of researching, but you got to put in some work, people. That's the point. You and I have to put in the work. You got to put in some work. We're living with reality, truth, and consequences here at the last stop. I'm your conductor and host, Mansa Bay.
Money to stop NATO using it as a power vacuum to continue wars. That's 80% of ending the war right there. All the real economic numbers coming in show that Trump's tariff war is working. He's pulled us out of the World Trade Organization in everything but name. Now they're dealing unilaterally with all these different countries. And almost every nation is going with the United States, including India, just this week. Then on top of that, we have the Maha RFK Jr. Tulsi Gabbard alliance effect. Because I know the inside baseball. I told you about this yesterday, and now you see it today. That he doesn't have access to these 16, 17 intelligence agencies. 17 if you count hers, the Office of National Intelligence that oversees them all. And she can go into any of those and get whatever she wants via the authority of the president. So he's like, yeah, we know HHS under Biden was given the authority over the kids so that they could disappear them, and now I'm working with other agencies. That's Gabbard.
You see what's going on here? There's a synopsis now, a synthesis, a coming together of the intelligence agencies, but those who are looking for justice, truth and justice, not trying to cover up the dirt that they have done, like Brennan, whom you heard earlier, or Comey, the FBI, the head of the FBI, Comey. Remember, he had all kind of documents. Hillary Clinton destroyed all kind of documents, information, and whatnot with hammers, bleach spit, and he said they, excuse me, had her basically dead to rights, but there would be. He said it wouldn't be a prosecutor that would prosecute her. What kind of madness was that? But they will impeach Trump over a telephone call. You got to start using your common sense. I hope you still got some. I know that they're depleting our brains with the stuff they're spraying in the sky, with the food, with the stuff that they're putting in the food and the water, estrogen in the water, making all the men gay, feminine men, all over the place. And we're gonna have to get into that as well too, about the pedophiles. Yeah, and not just the pedophiles. It's more than just grown-ups having sexual relations with children. It's more demonic than that. But I'm digressing again. I'm all over the place because there's so much information. There's so much information out here. There's so much going on. It was a Cloud and Piven strategy, was to just throw everything at the people, at us, and the kitchen sink, so that we would just be swirling around our heads. Oh, I can't do nothing about this. Well, I don't want my children or grandchildren to come up deformed, dilapidated, because I didn't do anything about it. And when I had the opportunity to do it, we have a modicum of free speech right now. Start using it and start influence people that you can influence. Take this podcast, The Last Stop, Living with Reality, Truth and Consequences. Take this podcast and share it. Share it with your circle of people. Share it. I mean, send me a chat, send me a text, something. And if I'm wrong, if you find something wrong, let me know, because deep in my heart, I want to be right. I don't want to be spreading so-called disinformation, misinformation, and most definitely not lies knowingly. No. But what I do know is what I do know. That we're in big trouble, people, if we don't pick up our common sense and start spending some of it, okay? Go to your common sense bank and draw some out and start spending it and share this.
To get the names and find them, and we're going to go find and rescue the kids. See, the Border Patrol had all that taken away from them. Holman doesn't even have that. I mean, this is a Herculean job, but they're doing it.
That's what he's talking about right now.
And then Kennedy also talked about, before even Trump got in or even got confirmed as HHS head, he said, we're going to bring out all the studies we know are already there. We've already got a lot of them, but a lot of them are secret, and they got caught erasing a bunch of them, but they were able to get them back. That was a month ago. Just they're hiding the stuff. And we're going to present it to everybody, and we're going to take the poison chemicals out. We're going to go after the shots. We're going to take away their liability protection. We're going to pull the fluoride out. And we're going to work with the states and attorney generals. If these companies don't do this, we're going to not just sue them, we're going to indict them.
See, that's what has to happen, you see. That's what has to happen. We need to see some arrests made. Yeah, like they arrested those judges, a couple of judges, you know. This one judge is actually helping an MS-13 gangbanger escape. Well, they caught him, but imagine that. You know, so you have these, they call them leftist judges, radical judges. I call them I'll use those terms there. I don't know what to call them. How do you wrap your head around something like that, that a judge is actually assisting an escape from her own court? We're talking straight up anarchy developing, and that's part of the plan as well too. They want to demoralize us so that we will lose all faith in the system. So right now, President Trump is doing all that he can to stay within the system. But you got a district judge that's going to block a national issue. There's that common sense again. So in my mind, I would just say just ignore this judge. I mean, because they have they don't have jurisdiction. Their jurisdiction ends at the district lines. But they're just doing stuff and lying and just lying and just lying. Oh man, I tell you, they want a race war. They want any kind of war. They want chaos because that will help them cover up the money trail. I got to talk about Doge and Elon Musk and what they're finding, the hundreds of billions of dollars of theft. They call it waste and fraud. Fraud, I guess, but no, theft, straight up thievery, treason. I mean, this thing is not a swamp. That's why Trump couldn't drain the swamp, because it's not a swamp. It's oceans. You got your Pacific Ocean that goes that way. You got your Atlantic Ocean that goes that way. And you got the North Pole, South Pole. It's going all over the place. We're going to have some mad fun here at the Last Stop Podcast. I don't like to be so heavy-handed and serious all the time, but these are serious times. So there's a one way here that I want to introduce right now, since I'm just trying to lighten up a little bit. I'll hold up this little book here, How to Eat to Live. It reads, From God in Person, Master Fard Muhammad, by Elijah Muhammad, Messenger of Allah, How to Eat to Live. This is book 1. And I'm rereading it again, and you know how books are. You read it and you get more, you glean more out of it. this is one way that we can survive all this madness. In this book, he says for us the best way to eat is one meal a day. So they come out with this intermittent fasting that they think that no, it comes from the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Yeah, and then not only just one meal a day, there's nothing in between too. Not no snack or banana, pear. I guess if you had to, in order to start to train yourself, yes, a piece of fruit or something, in between that meal, but one meal a day and the proper time to eat it. Between the hours of, we say they don't change the time again, but, between 4 and 7, you don't want to eat and lay down on the stomach. So that's you pick your time in there, But not just eating one meal per day, but once we train ourselves to do that, then it's one meal every other day. And finally, he says, eat one meal every 3 days. What happens to your body then? Your body has a chance to rest. It has a chance to eliminate the toxins and the poisons that we're breathing in, and even the poisons that are in our food and water. Gives the body a chance to repair itself. So I just wanted to bring that up there to you, just kind of, just health is our number one asset. Yes, our health. So, because if you're healthy, well, there's something like a healthy man dreams 1,000 or 1,000,000 dreams. A sick man only dreams one dream. His one dream is just to get well. Okay.
Even if the DOJ doesn't do it, because there's so much going on, or they're controlled, or whatever happens. You don't just count on that. And now I have stacks of developments here where it's all happening. Let me just show you some of the headlines, and I'll drill into them, so you get it in context first. Huge. Tulsi Gabbard is investigating Dr. Fauci for potentially perjuring himself during hearings with Rand Paul. Of course he did. We've caught him dead to rights on gain of function. She's on the verge of proving Fauci funded the gain of function research in Wuhan, resulting in COVID-19. No, it's already proven, but with her authority and even more documents that are secret, nailing his ass. Tulsi's going to drop the hammer, and we could be seeing Fauci and his cronies in cuffs. And I'm telling you, that's the plan. You got Kennedy coming out saying, yeah, it's DARPA and the Pentagon with the chemtrails. We're about to put a report together. We're going to ban it. That's just yesterday.
Is that not wonderful? Yeah. We have to get, like I said, all of my life, as I can remember, darn near, seeing these things in the sky and knowing that something's wrong with that picture. There's a report out that the Earth is actually 30% darker now than it was back in 1990 or something like that. 20 to 30 years ago, the Earth is 30% darker. So you block out the sun, which is what? The source of energy. And then and they got these big old machines, Bill Gates and them, they done come up with this machine that sucks carbon out of the air, out of the atmosphere. And they talking about they're going to bury it underground somewhere. Oh, man. They're cutting down the trees and burying them. Look it up. Don't take my word for it. You might screw my head off and just, oh my goodness, this thing is out to lunch, as they say. Amazing. Go ahead, Jesse Lee Peterson.
Then it goes on. Look at this. This is the effect. They already banned fluoride in Utah. Now they've just passed a law to ban it in Florida. A bunch of other states are doing it. Kennedy says they're about to move for that nationally in the next few months. But first, she's getting all the credibility together and all the reports and all beating the drum politically and doing all the big talk shows, like Dr. Phil, to get everybody behind it. Attorney General Ken Paxton launches investigations into companies for illegally marketing toothpaste products containing fluoride to kids, which lowers their IQ by design. Boom. See? The swarm effect. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth signed a memorandum to provide remedies for service members who were hurt by experimental COVID vaccines. Now those affected want to know if anyone was fired.
Pete Hegseth, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff right now, head of the Pentagon. I don't want to get his title wrong, so he's just head of the Pentagon over the military. That's why they want him out. That young man is qualified and bona fide. So what does a criminal want not to be chasing him? Is someone that is qualified and bona fide and able to do. That is Pete Hegseth.
So not just bringing people back that were fired for not taking it, but helping those that were hurt by it to then further showcase them, help them financially, and build the case to go after Big Pharma. This is what you do when you're undermining your target before you hit it, when you're poisoning the well with the truth. Because that's poison to the liars. RFK Jr. leaves News Nation panel speechless with brilliant point we'll play in a moment on measles. We're going to get to it all in a moment. And there's...
Yeah, them measles, them doggone measles, right? We've all, I don't know, I had them, and most everyone has had them. But what about these other things that is killing us? Killing the children, autism, cancer, all these things. I look forward to Robert Kennedy's analysis when he comes up here, so that we can see what he has to say about these things. And you're going to be shocked, and you should be shocked, and you should be shocked and jolted into reality. Learn to live with reality, the truth and its consequences. But when you're being real, loving yourself, the consequences are going to be real and wonderful. It's marvelous when it's understood.
There's more. So, this is a real revolution. And just what he's done so far in the first 101 days is, it's hard to say who the best is, because there's been a lot of great results. Doge, Trump, of course, and then RFK Jr., and then Tulsi, and then the underperforming, I have to say it, we're moving into that area of big concern, Pam Bondi.
Yeah, the Attorney General.
She's a lovely person, and Trump has confidence in her. But I mean, we're on fumes here. We're going to start seeing some real action.
Yeah, that's because there's things that's on her desk that that are just sitting right there on her desk. She's had enough information to go ahead and start indicting people right now. She's the number one law enforcer in the country. The prosecutor, the Attorney General. So she has to kind of step up her game, So like you see Alex Jones, he's got a little bit of a question mark on her, and so do I and a few others. But again, this is a big ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, the Gulf of America, etc. Okay.
Cash, I'd give he's done some good, Crossfire Hurricane, other things. And he's doing a lot of detector testing, going after the leakers and things. So the jury's, out right now on their score. Not out on whether they're good or not. This keeps going on for a few more months and things. We'll start moving into that area. But I don't jump the gun on these things. But the Treasury Secretary, splendid job. His financial advisor, splendid job. The EPA head, excellent job. I mean, it's just Tom Homan, excellent job. Border Patrol, excellent job. Overall, just A+. But
yeah,
Tulsi, and you know the formula, it's the truth formula. They come out, they build up, They set their case, and then they vaporize the enemy. And that's what's happened. And so we had the emails, we have conferences he headed up with government funding called in defense of gain of function. And we have him in the email saying, cover this up, get our scientists involved. He went to the CIA, organized them to do PR campaigns. I mean, he lied over and over again. You did gain of function. Here's the document. No, it is you, Senator, that is wrong. I never did that. And they do.
Just straight up lie. I'm looking at him testifying in front of Kennedy. He's calling, no, Senator, you're a liar. You're wrong. Like, man, oh, Shevitz. Again, I mean, just look you dead in your eye and lie. Like Bill Clinton said, I never had sexual relations with that girl. I mean what I mean.
Developed COVID-19 at Chapel Hill, North Carolina. They tested at the University of Texas, Galveston. We covered all that 5 years ago. Hell, we covered it before they launched it.
Okay.
It was a scandal in 2015 over it. They had to move it offshore because a bunch of scientists blew the whistle.
Pay attention.
They were building gain-of-function SARS, COVID viruses. And, of course, the, quote, mRNA vaccines to counter it. They had this whole thing set up.
Do you see why they had to silence this man, Alex Jones? I do. I've been listening to him for over 20 years. And I've done my research, and my research shows that he's been dead on the money on everything. I can't say on some of it. I mean, really, all of it. Well, what about the Sandy Hook thing? Well, what about it? He did a 30-second or so clip on it, maybe a minute. And he was reporting on a report that was already out. He didn't initiate this report. He was speaking on something that was already out there. And that Sandy Hook thing is still a mystery. Because have you ever read the police reports of the Sandy Hook? No, you haven't. The police report said that there was, I'm not going to get off into Sandy Hook. I'm going to leave that alone. You do the research, okay? Do some more research if you like. But I'm just saying that Alex Jones did a documentary called Endgame. Endgame. E-N-D, game. Over 14, 15 years ago. You can YouTube it, and listen to it. Look at it. Take notes, or you can stop it as it goes and do the research on what he says. And I'll be doggone, you're going to come back and you're going to say, dang, what? Please realize, ladies and gentlemen, sisters and brothers, girls and boys, that we have been hoodwinked, as Malcolm X said, made famous. We've been hoodwinked. We've been bamboozled. You've been tricked, and still being tricked. And here's another thing before I continue with this. In the scriptures, it says that my people perish or are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Okay, but then read the next line. Because they reject knowledge. Please don't be of those who reject knowledge, because when you reject knowledge, you reject power, you reject reality, and then you can be led to believe that bunny rabbits have chicken eggs and that Cupid has an arrow and a bow is going to shoot your sweetheart on Valentine's Day. Don't be that person. Again, take this, share it. Start a discussion on any of the points, but keep it real, as Al Sharpton would say. But he's a con, also an FBI informant. I ain't say it. He says it himself. Oh, man.
So, but she has access to all 17 intelligence agencies and to what Fauci did in all those meetings, day-long meetings, at least 4 of them we know of, at the CIA in person. And you do that to go into a secure skiff area where there's no bugs to plan some really evil crap, like the main bubble or skiff, the tank, as they call it, the Pentagon, the most secret area, the tank, planning the coups against Trump we now know about.
Okay.
So this is a real hot war actually going on right now for our country. So we already have him with EcoHealth Alliance and his own emails and the rest of it, but there's a bunch of other stuff we know because it was all cooked up by Obama and the Pentagon 2013, 14, 15. And of course we have...
Now when he says, this is a hot war for our country, look here. This is a hot war on for humanity. It just ain't America. This is remember now, this is a global thing, transnational. This is a hot war against us and our future. They want to merge with computers into this transhumanism. Yes, they want to merge with computers where they can take your conscious mind and put it into a machine. RoboCop is an example of it, somewhat, yeah. And have you seen the robots that they've got now? Oh, they're doing ballet, they're doing somersaults, they're doing flips, not to mention that they carry weapons. Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, Schwarzenegger, that's what that means. Schwarzenegger. I tell you, you've seen it all on television, Tell, lie, vision. Got that from my brother here in Detroit. Great activist. His name is escaping me right now, but I'll have to bring it back, And when we do some, in fact, I'm going to see if I can't set up a Zoom interview with him because he's such a powerful character, powerful activist, and a long-time activist here in the Detroit community.
The top expert, Dr. Francis Boyle, on in January and February of 2020.
Francis Boyle.
Telling you everything that was going to happen. I mean, he wrote the U.S. chemical and biological weapons laws. He co-wrote the UN global treaties. He might know a little.
Did you hear that now? This is the type of information that you can take to God. I take it to the bank because the banks are closing. Take it to your own intellect. This man, Francis Boyle, Dr. Francis Boyle, has such a high pedigree that I think only 1 or 2 people a year obtain this pedigree. Henry Kissinger was one, and this Sir Dr. Francis Boyle is another, where they get so much training and information that, he says, he wrote these laws, documents, United Nations stuff. So please, again, take these names and research them, okay?
That's not a fake academic right there. That guy, all he does is research, and he knows everybody. And he said everything was going to happen, and that the vaccine would be a bioweapon to erase your immune system. Of course, I got that from General Stubbleby and his wife, Rima Lebo, in 2009, because she was meeting with some of the heads of state running their mouths.
I remember that.
So they've had this plan, and you got Peter Daszak working for Fauci saying in 2019 in an interview, oh yeah, we accelerated and mutated viruses gain a function, and we got vaccines already made to counter it. And you got Fauci going, so the new virus out of China will hit, and we will have an mRNA shot for you. And we'll get past the FDA approval process with a new system. And they come from and say, well, they closed for years, sir. It takes 10 years. And then they have another advisor go, no, sir, we actually have this on the shelf. You'll be a hero. And that was the setup.
You know, they have patents on COVID. Yeah, they have patents on the mRNA shots. And these patents predate the so-called outbreak. So that tells us that they already had it, like Alex Jones just was saying, it was already sitting on the shelf. Already sitting on the shelf. Good googly woogly. How long will we just let the criminals run our country? This country, whether we consider it our country or not, well, you live here, we live here, and we're really not going anywhere. Yeah, some of us can go over to Africa and live in Ghana, and Burkina Faso is a place that is being headed now. The president there is a Captain Ibrahim Traore. Oh man, I admire this young man. I really do. Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traore. He's the president now. But check out this brother. He's making stuff happen in there for his country. I'm not downing none of the African. Well, I ain't gonna say none of them, but I'm not downing Africa per se. But we live right here, you know, where our foreparents' blood soaked this land.
So, and Trump knows that. Let me just give you the exclusive. He knows he got set up and he's pissed. And that's what Kennedy's there to do. Because Trump never admits when he gets set up or is wrong. Well, he did say he didn't know what he was getting into 8 years ago. He didn't realize how evil they were, and he's learned a lot. So he's gone as far as Trump does. But you're seeing his response to all this. And these are his people doing all this. So this is Trump. When you hear Kennedy talk, that's Trump. You hear Gabbard talk, that's Trump. Marco Rubio, that's Trump. That's why he's a totally different person now. So this is the rollout of going at him. Because Trump knows they're planning to release a new virus. They said they would to counter him. Peter Hotez, oh, don't worry, a new virus is coming. That'll stop his recovery. He's the new spokesperson for the globalists. You got Tedros over at the UN, WHO, same stuff. Yeah, it didn't come out of a bat, folks. Came out of a laboratory. So, this is King Fauci and the whole thing, right up to Obama and beyond, and the bioweapon labs in Ukraine, or their annihilation, politically. Here's the clip.
But the thing that we are working...
Now, don't get your pants wet, or don't lose your mind when somebody says Obama. I know that a lot of you thought he was the next thing next to Jesus, or some of you thought he was Jesus. And some of you also thought George Floyd was Jesus too. Where are your brains at? Well, they're in a can. They're somewhere on the shelf. We're being destroyed. Our brain cells are being destroyed so that we really can't think cognitively. You know, so this is... this is major danger stuff that's going on here. I just earlier listened to an interview with Dr. Ardis, and his book. I left it upstairs, but I'll introduce his book on my next podcast production, and I may even I don't know. I may even add on the end of this one here because it is that good. He is that. If any of the doctors that I've ever listened to, I would have to say I would have him to be my doctor, my physician. And if you Dr. Ardis, Ardis, you can all Google him and hear his story. Finances, gold and silver. Dr. Kirk Elliott. Kirk Elliott Precious Metals. Scientifically, financially, mathematically, he's on the money too as well. So, silver and gold is real money. The Federal Reserve, I pray that most of you know that it's nothing to do with the government. It's a private banking organization that, they call it The Creature from Jekyll Island. I think there's a book you can, The Creature from Jekyll Island. Do that research. Don't be scarred to find out some realities of life. But I'll digress on Dr. Ardis though, because what I was listening to earlier, he was talking about what's going on with our brain. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna do it quickly. We need salt. Salt. And everybody want to say salt's bad for you. Salt's bad. You have to decrease it. No. We need salt. We need fat. Oh, your cholesterol's high. You got this. So they give you something to reduce your cholesterol and take your blood down and just mess you up. Iodine. Got to have iodine. All these people having bad with thyroid conditions and all kind of stuff. Oh, but the one he said the number one enemy to MS, muscular dystrophy, is selenium. Selenium. Again, just do the research. I'm not making this up, and I don't want to be. So with that, like I said, I'm gonna have to get to the book there and introduce the book to you. But Dr. Ardis, I'd love to have him as my physician. Let me see what Alex is talking about over here at this time, okay?
And we're getting ready to bring it all out and indict them. We already have all the proof, but she's got the internal secret documents from the CIA meetings with Fauci. This is huge. You don't do this unless you're about to drop the hammer.
Okay.
And then she went on to say, we don't want new viruses released. Because what has Tedros and Bill Gates and all their other spokespersons and Fauci and Peter Daszak and Hotez said, oh, don't worry, a new pandemic will...
This guy Tedros, World Health Organization, he was the, I don't know, what was it, in some country in Africa where he was over the health industry there, and they ran him up out of there. He was responsible for all kind of deaths, and they rewarded him by making him the head of the World Health Organization. Tedros, World Health Organization. Google him up. Just Google him up. Research him. And you'll find that this man is just as wicked and just as murderous as Fauci and Peter Daszak and all of these guys. And Obama. Yeah, Obama said he's got a pen and he's got a phone and a predator drone. That's what he said, predator drone. Mass murderers. That's what we're dealing with.
And then you read their white papers where they brag about it, how they'll use a virus to bring in their global government and their cashless society and their social credit score and to train you to be locked down when they tell you on a routine basis, getting you ready for carbon lockdowns and 15-minute cities, and it's all happening. And it all overlays, like Palisades was designated 2 years ago as a 50-minute city. And when Maui happened, I said, I bet Palisades is next. Some of the most expensive real estate in the world, in a tinderbox, with leftists running it, designated as a 50-minute city, but the people won't sell their houses, so you burn it down.
Okay, you see, this is a diabolical scheme, plan, and it's in effect. 15-minute cities. Okay, first time we mentioned that today, but yes, 15-minute cities, where they want you to not travel outside of 15 minutes of wherever you domicile, wherever you're living. And they already have some of those in London. There's another researcher that produces documentaries on the 15-minute cities, because he's been there, seen how it's going down. And he's, oh, boy, I can't get Dr. Artis out of my head right now because, oh, man, this cat is something else. This doctor is something else. That's all I can say on that right now.
And it happened. People see that clip, they go, how the hell did he do that? This ain't hard, people, once you're not naive. And people are going to stop being naive, or you're going to live in a world of you-know-what. And the good news is people are getting it.
Alhamdulillah. Thank God.
And there are more developments by the minute happening. Kennedy's in Texas right now to the farmers with the water supply. There's all sorts of pesticides and herbicides that are not as toxic and don't cause all this. They chose pesticides in America, banned everywhere else. Like Adford.
When I saw that variants going around, see, when people are getting sick, having all these other things, these are results of the shot. The mRNA, the messenger something. You know, they had to change the definition of a virus in order to, was it the FDA, CDC? They had to change the name, the meaning of it, definition of, and in order to get the FDA to get some to pass this emergency thing, the only time you can have an emergency thing going if you have no other agent to help, okay? But the fact was that there were other agents to help. There was ivermectin. Oh no, you couldn't even say that on YouTube that they ban you. I'm hoping that they don't give me a strike right now, but I don't think they will right now because this thing is so widely been exposed now. The ivermectin and some other stuff. But ivermectin just sticks in my mind first, and it was very cheap, and it was very successful in treating the COVID symptoms. But now they want to, as Bill Gates says in an interview, just want to shoot it up into the children's arms. Yeah, we're just going to shoot it up in there. Let me get here. We're just going to shoot it up into the children's arms, you know, and see what happens. Well, they know what happens. They know that they already tested it. That it's going to kill people. They're pulling out strange substances out of people's bodies, out of their veins and stuff. And athletes are just falling over dead. Never before this stuff happened. So now you're going to have all these other sicknesses coming on, turbo cancers, you know. Somebody is now is trying to make it normal for teenagers now to have cancer and stuff like that. No, they are giving this stuff to us. Yes, they are giving this stuff to us so that they can, one, depopulate the planet. Two, they can drain us of all of our energy, all of our resources, all of our money. as they experiment, so that they can find themselves merging with computers, with the machines. There was a movie that Samuel L. Jackson was in, and there's a statement he said, "Well, you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet." Well, people, we're not eggs. We are human beings, and they are experimenting and everything else on us. You know, they're doing it. Yes, they are just doing it, and so we have to just say no, realize what's going on, take this information, do the best you can to spread it, conversate about it, and we'll be back with our edition, our final call edition here. This one here I'm so proud of, that the Nation of Islam has put out. The Resurrection, Reformation. We must reflect the Jesus, the revolutionary. So the final call. The final call in the Nation of Islam and its leadership is such a beautiful love story that I will be getting into as we continue with the last stop, living with reality, truth, and consequences. And before I close, I just want to get just a little bit more of information out here to you so that you can. I don't want you to miss. I want you to get it, take notes.
And Kennedy's down there telling farmers, you're going to have to move away from this. He's down there building the case, getting the farmers on board to ban it right now, this minute he's speaking. That's action, Jackson.
Yeah.
And people are so cynical and so used to just having evil running things that I see it constantly. Oh, Jones is cheerleading Trump. Yeah, the good stuff he's doing, I'm not cheerleading him. I'm battling with him to get it done. Fluoride already coming out of the water all over the place. Vaccines openly about to lose their vaccine exemption, which then they'll be banned because they won't put it out of it. Doesn't have liability protection. The tens of thousands of chemicals coming out of the food.
That vaccine protection that they've had, you know, where you couldn't sue them. So yeah, they'll put out stuff and just kill you up, and you can't even sue them. Well, they're getting ready to get rid of that insurance policy for them, you know. You dang tootin', Skippy.
They're going after the atrazine. They're going after all of it. And you talk about a new economy based on new innovation and things that aren't toxic. That's the opposite of the fake green economy. That's the real green economy.
You know, estrogen that they, what is it? Sugar, it's a sweetener, artificial sweetener. It's a chemical sweetener. And what they used it for was to, in the big tanker ships and the diesel engines, you know, they would dump, what is it? Oh my goodness. Escapes me.
And it empowers us financially and health-wise. And of course, the health-wise is the most important. That's your real asset. I mean, this is just fantastic. Because I've watched what Gabbard and RFK Jr. do. And they're of action. And when they start saying they're going to do something, they do it. Usually within a month. You took methylene blue about 30 minutes ago. Are you feeling it?
I think I am.
Well, you told me during the break something.
Yeah, Roseanne Barr. Y'all remember her, Roseanne? She's a very interesting lady. But right now, the blue methylene is a chemical that is very powerful and very helpful for your mitochondria. I mean, bringing oxygens inside of your cells to where it needs to be. But they're kind of crazy. This little crazy skit. And so I'm gonna play this here as I close out here and have a laugh with Roseanne Barr and this crazy man Alex Jones. Okay.
Something. Repeat what you said's happening. You feeling the?
I feel like that stuff in my fingers. I feel tingling fingers.
You're feeling the Palpatine love?
I think I feel the Palpatine love, yeah.
Well, go ahead and there's the camera. Blast them with full power right there. Yeah! Powered by methylene blue, ultra methylene blue at thealishowstore.com. So seriously though, I didn't. During the break, I said, "Are you feeling?" I feel the tingle.
I do.
What are you feeling now?
Well, it's kind of going up my arms. I feel it in my head and neck too. Like when I'm talking, it seems like it's not really me talking. I can hear my talking and going, "Wow, you."
I agree. It's almost like an out-of-body experience for somebody. Like that's how it's like. I didn't do that. It's like you're behind yourself.
That is what it feels like. But my brain's going really fast. You know, because my brain, sometimes it goes so fast that I can't get it out on.
Yeah, all it does is increase electrochemical activity in the mitochondria, but that's a big deal.
No, I really like it. I'm going to have to get on this stuff.
Here, show her Kennedy taking it. Kennedy literally gobbles it. Unlimited power!
Oh,
Unlimited power!
am I going to be like that?
Well, I'm like that normally. So.
Yeah, you are like that normally.
Unlimited power!
Volunteer power.
Unlimited power, blue methylene. I tell you, this information and that we're giving out here, presenting to you at the last stop, I have to get comfortable in it. You know, I just put my little studio together here. I'm still working out bugs, you know, the sound and everything. And so as we grow, you know, I'm going to put up a Cash App thing too that you guys, some people, if you ever feel like that you would like to, you know, donate or contribute to help out with these, with the cost. And so that I would, you know, gladly welcome it, you know. And I won't be pushing it, no. But I'll have a Cash App thing up pretty soon, maybe on the next one. Or maybe I'll add to that at the end of this one right here. Why wait? But the information, we're in an information war. You know, and that's the first thing that the enemy will cut off in a war or leading up to a hot war, which means physical or kinetic, is the information. You know, they cut off the information so that we can't communicate. And so one of the most devastating ways that they cut our information is that they divide us from talking to each other. I'm talking to family and friends, you know. They put us at odds with each other, so we don't even talk, we don't even communicate with each other, and so we're out into this, what I call it, the sea of sin. You know, this world is Satan's world. You know, the world of evil. You know, the so-called white man. You know, he had a job to do, and he done his job. You know, his job was to show us just how evil and wicked we can be. Yeah, I know you don't like that, but the truth is, you know, the white man came from the black man, so. There would be no evil in the world if there were no evil in the original. Take it, let it alone. And those of you disagree with me, well, send me your disagreement. You ain't got to call me no names or nothing, but, you know, send me your proof, and I'll compare it with my proof, and then we'll publish it, you know. No, it's not going to be secret. No, we have to be transparent. We have to be open. Because when I make a statement that, you know, This is the last stop where you're going to receive conclusive evidence of life's realities. That's exactly what it's going to be. Again, I'm your host and conductor, Mansa Bay, A.M. M. Beckham, for short, for long, acronym, Mansa Bay, also known as Angelo Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum. Till the next time. This was the last stop. Thank you.
So Dems, Repubs, Christians, Jews, Muslim, Hindu, and hoodoo-yoodoo, why must we compete when we all say that we believe?